Hey y'all, Jesse Petersen here with Let's Make Art. I'm a mixed media artist and I love art journaling, and I'm here with a new project with Keenan.
Hello.
He's our art cheerleader.
Yes, I'm here to cheer the arts.
Yes, and he takes care of all the cameras and things so that you can see everything you need. Okay, so this is our project.
Ooh.
It's super simple and it's part of a new theme that we're doing right now. It's
Excellent.
January.
Tell me more.
I will. Thank you for being excited.
Sorry for interrupting. I just had to say that.
I like it. Our theme this month is interstellar moods, which I got really excited about. So I'll just read it to you. It says, we are reaching for the stars as we explore our interstellar moods, pairing thoughtful prompts with vivid liquid watercolors, bleed-proof white, and salt to create galaxy-themed projects. Just as the moon goes from beautiful and bright to a sliver of light, we can find time to rest and restore and recognize this is just a phase. So I thought this would be a fun way to start off our new journal and a new year and just like take a breath, y'all.
Phase one, take a breath.
Yes. So whatever's happening, it's just a phase.
Yes.
And we're gonna be okay. So I'm going to tell you the supplies that we're going to use for all the projects this month, and then we'll narrow down what we're going to do for this project. So we're going to use some salt. I have this little Celtic sea salt. That was hard to say.
Celtic, Baltic?
Celtic.
Celtic,
Sea salt. Celtic.
Celtic?
Is it
C?
I'm not saying it anymore.
C-E-L-T-I-C?
C-E-L-T-I-C.
That's Celtic.
Celtic. Okay.
That's like, yeah, that's cool.
All right, whatever.
Nice.
We're going to do some bleed-proof white. Ooh, this is really on there. I don't know.
Do you need assistance?
Yes. Thank you. Bleed-proof white, and we have some awesome watercolors. We're going to use fuchsia.
Do you want me to throw it back open or closed?
Oh, I maybe walk it over here. Tahoe blue and black. Those are the colors we're going to use, and we'll use some Yes paste as well. You get this little guy in your box, but I'm just going to use the big Mama Jamma right there. Thank you so much, Keenan.
Welcome.
You could have said hello while you're over here, showing your face or something.
I'm
your
entirely
cool coat.
too chilly, and I want to keep my coat on.
So there's our bleed-proof white. Hopefully yours is easy to open. All right, and one of my favorite items in this box.
Oh snap.
We're not going to use it in this project. We're going to use it in another project, but it is a Zig Clean Color Dot metallic pen, and it is so cool because it has this regular tip where you can do writing and drawing, but this other tip that has like a little round area that makes really good dots.
Oh, I've seen that recently.
Stay tuned. It'll be in another project.
Oh snap.
Okay. And then an X-Acto knife to cut our collage paper. And I actually need to change my blade again, so I have extra blades here, and we have these available on our website as well. The number 11 blades fit this knife. And you can use either your 1/2-inch mop or a round 8, whatever brush you got is fine. What we're going to do here is really just simple and easy, so it'll be fine whatever brush you have. I think that's all the supplies for the theme this month. And then for this project, we're not going to use the salt or the bleed-proof white or the pen. We're just going to get really basic with this, but it's going to be so satisfying and so fun and so easy and so quick. So let's get started.
Let's do it.
So we're going to grab a new journal, this Carpe Diem journal that we had made for us for the specific purpose of art journaling along with Let's Make Art. Just going to turn to a new page here. Get my clip that down. Move this guy, and all this stuff. Oh, I'm excited. Okay, get water. Gonna need some water. So if you don't have any water, go grab that really fast. I'm just gonna put mine, right there. And I'm gonna get my colors out. I might need to move this over a little bit so they can see the color mixing in the tray, right?
Right.
Keenan? Was that a good spot for that?
I mean, it was pretty good. Now
was
it's
it?
better.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure.
I hear you. Very nice.
Fuchsia. Maybe a little bit more. These liquid watercolors go a long way, which I love. And if you have been here with me doing art journaling, you might not have done watercolor since like last March with me. But if you're interested in doing watercolor, Sarah Cray teaches watercolor and it's amazing. She's taught me a lot.
It is fun to watch those tutorials.
And she's going to join me for a tutorial this month.
Really?
Yeah. I'm excited.
Oh, this is exhilarating.
Okay, so we're just going to create a background for the collage paper that we have. And you'll see that I have this sort of blue-green color. We're going to mix our Tahoe blue with a little black to get that color. And then we'll mix our blue and our pink to get this little purple. And then we'll drop in a little bit of the fuchsia in there. So this is just making a background, and then we're going to try for some blooms. Now this is not watercolor paper, it's mixed media paper, but it's kind of fun because you'll still get a little bit of the effects of watercolor, but just not as pronounced as you would if you were using watercolor paper. But we're okay with that because this is mixed media. We're doing different things with it. It's gonna be fun. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is grab my mop brush and just wet my paper. And I must have had a little paint on there from before, but that's okay because we're going to put more paint on here.
Nice.
But I was just trying to go, that's probably better because you can see it more than the clear water. I'm just going to make a little border around my paper, and I'm just going to wet my paper a little bit. Not too much, but just enough water so we got something going on here. And Sarah taught me this. When you do that, then the pigment gets a little darker because it has somewhere to settle in right away because the paper is wet. Okay, so I'm going to mix my Tahoe and my black to get that kind of fun turquoisey blue color. Oh yeah, I'm liking that. That's looking good. Okay, and I'm just going to drop that in here.
I watch how all of you artists hold the brushes differently. Mm-hmm. And Lois, whenever she's on the kids' videos,
yeah,
she holds the brush just like you do.
She does, in the further back?
Yeah, further back. It's really funny to watch, actually. Very similar.
Well, I like my stuff to be loose, and when I pull my brush back a little further, it gives me less control in some ways, which then I don't get too precious. So that's why I do that sometimes. So I'm glad that you noticed that, so that I can point that out.
Many added benefits to how you hold the brush.
Mm-hmm. And I'm also just trying to keep my arm out of the way so you can see what's happening.
That's a good call.
So I'm just going to take more of the Tahoe, less mix now, and I'm just going to bring that in here. And then I'm just going to rinse my brush, get most of that water off, and then I'm just going to try to blend the middle because I know I want my moon to kind of set in the middle there and be a little lighter. So if you're working quickly and it's wet, you can blend, kind of scrub that down a little. Makes sense. And this is already dry from when we added our water, so I'm going to come back and do a little more just water on there.
Jesse, did you already mention your shirt?
I didn't, but did you notice that it went along?
I did.
My good friend Drea gave me this for my birthday, and I could not resist wearing it when it matched the theme so perfectly. I mean, it's all about the moon phases, right?
Phases of the moon.
Ooh, I like that singing. It's
Thank
good.
you. I wrote that today.
It's beautiful. Okay, now we're going to mix our fuchsia and our blue, and if you want it to be more purpley, you need to put more fuchsia in there. See that? See how it got purpley?
That is
I love
a
it.
lovely
Ooh,
purple.
It's so good. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to drop that in to the wet areas of my paper. I'm just going to go for the edges right now. And if this isn't turning out exactly like mine, you just don't worry about it. It's different every time I do it. And there's lots more pages in your journal. You can keep exploring this. I'm going to drop a little.
I like that purple a lot.
Oh, it's so good. I like it. And the cool thing is, as this dries, it transforms. So yours might end up looking how mine is in a minute. Okay, now I'm going to take a little bit of that purple and mix it with my bluish green so I can get a transition right in here. And I'm okay with that. I like that. It's looking good. Now I'm going to drop a little bit more of that purple just right in here. And I think I want a little bit darker blue at the bottom again. So I'm going to pick up that black and that Tahoe, mix it around a little bit. I'm going to drop some of that in there, just so there's some continuity in my background, like from the top to the bottom. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I realized I didn't explain who Lois was.
Oh, she's my daughter. That makes a lot of sense.
And I kind of said, whenever she does the kids' videos, I feel like I didn't explain my whole thought process very well. Lois is Jesse's daughter. She's adorable and hilarious. She has great jokes that we're holding on to share with everyone later in life. And she comes and frequents our kids' tutorials with Nicole.
Mm-hmm. And she loves painting with Nicole, whether it's in person here in the studio or at home with our supplies. She loves it. So does Ruby. I have 3 daughters. Clementine's not old enough to do stuff with us on the videos, but she still does art with us at home.
She's hilarious too.
She's 2 years old. Okay. I kind of want to just have some darker areas right in here. So that was already dry, and I'm just dropping some more pigment on here. And then, because I'm using my brush that like, just to pat in a little bit of color. Now I'm just gonna get water on my brush and I'm gonna try to create some blooms, and it's doing it right on top of there. So don't be scared to layer in watercolor this way. This is kind of a fun way to work. Since that was still wet, I could do some blooms. And there may be some other areas you can still get blooms if it's wet enough. There you go. That one's good. I'm liking that one. I mean, sometimes you get a little crazy. Like, don't get greedy, right? Like, it's working the magic for you.
Yeah, don't be greedy.
Oh, yeah. We get lots of blooms. Which is so great because this is not, like I said, this is not watercolor.
Jesse.
Yes.
Did you set an intention?
I didn't.
This is perfect time to set an intention.
It is, because we gotta let this dry.
Exactly, and there's no bad time to set an intention.
Oh, I love that you said that. That is so true. So I was just thinking about, I'm pretty ambitious and I get like anxiety when I'm working really hard, and I have this to-do list nonstop in my head of everything that I'm trying to accomplish. And sometimes I just get stressed and I have to remember, I have all of these tools in my toolbox for trying to be in the moment, but I still have to remind myself to do them. So art journaling is one of those things. But the thought of like just slowing down like is so important for me because I'm always just going and going and going and going. And so I'm like, what am I doing all this for if I can't enjoy it, right? Like, so I think it would be a good time to set an intention. So we'll take a deep breath and we'll think about that thought. So just like feel your shoulders relax, like really take a breath, like feel the breath in your lungs. Oh man, I already feel better.
Yes.
So yeah, it's okay. I'm giving you permission to slow down, enjoy your life. Just slow down, it's okay. But I have to be reminded that so many times a day.
Constantly.
Yeah. Oh, you guys, this is looking so cool. And it's different than this one. But I like what happened here. That's pretty fun.
Yeah, that's super fun.
And those little blooms that I thought were little baby blooms turned out to be bigger blooms as they kept on going. So yeah, really, it's just have fun on the edges and leave the middle like a little bit lighter so it'll look like the moon is glowing. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's move this over. We'll let that dry for a minute and we'll cut out our collage paper. So we got this good looking moon right here. I'm gonna get my cutting board, my X-Acto. I'm going to change my blade. So if you haven't changed a blade before, but you have this knife, you're just going to twist it like this, and you'll hear it release. And then that means that that little grabber is loosening up, and you can very carefully grab your blade, put it aside, get a new blade. Number 11 is what these are. Sometimes these packages are tough to open. There we go. And the good news is it's inside of a plastic thing, so when you're trying to open this, you're not going to cut yourself because it's protected in there.
It's funny that a package full of blades is difficult to open.
Right? Like if you just had a blade.
If only you had a blade.
Oh my goodness.
Hear me out. What if you had used the dull blade to open the package before you took it out of the
I
tool?
could have, but then they wouldn't have all this fun watching me struggle.
That's
so
true. That's true. We wouldn't have this chit chat.
Okay, so this little thing comes out, which is nice because you can just keep this if you don't have one of those little blade containers or whatever. Take care of just one. Whoop.
Whoa, what if you had an X-Acto knife that you could put two blades in side by side so that it cuts cool designs in the paper while you cut it?
Ooh, that's rad.
There's a saw blade called a dado blade that you can do that with a table saw.
Really? What have you made something with that kind of blade?
I've never used the actual blade, but I've watched a lot of YouTube videos on what you can use it for.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna cut this out. And one little trick when you're cutting is just to cut, instead of cutting right between the purple and the moon, just come in just a titch, and then you will for sure not have that little bit of purple on your moon when you're cutting it out. Makes sense? You just want to come in just a teeny bit inside the shape. And another thing I like to do is just turn my paper as I cut. Instead of turning your blade around the like this, you can make it work for you. Just turn your paper.
You know what I've been thinking lately?
What?
It'd be really cool to have something like your cutting mat on a harder surface, but on a bearing. So like a Lazy Susan art table that's that size.
Oh.
So that it'd be easier for you to spin your paper, rotate your paper to paint different angles.
I have one of those for sewing that I use to turn and cut, but I never really thought about it with my paper cutting. It's cool, Keenan.
Thank you.
I had to move that so that my paper didn't touch my wet journal. So if that seemed a little awkward, that's what I was going for. Okay, got our moon. Just a little titch of something right there. I'm gonna trim that off. All right, whew, good. And then our words, which are right here. And if you want, you can use a ruler to keep these straight. I just love a nice new sharp blade. It just makes cutting so easy. Cutting with a dull blade is no fun. I'm just gonna cut this shape out and then I'll cut the individual ones off. I just really like this quote a lot. I'd never heard it before, and I don't know, it really resonated with me. So I'm excited to have this in my journal.
Did you already read this quote today?
I don't know. I thought I did. Did I not? Read it.
I just can't remember now. I'll read it when you cut it out.
Okay.
In dramatic fashion.
I like it. Oh, got one more. I thought I was done. There we go. And I'm just going to trim these down a little bit because I don't want them to have all that white on there. So the moon is oh, that's a little, there you go. I like that better. Just got a little bit, got a little too excited there. I love it when the paper curls like that.
Oh yeah, it's adorable.
Trim off that little baby bit too. help. There we go. Now you can read it. Or is it upside down for you?
Nope, it's perfect. The moon is a reminder that no matter what phase I am in, I am still whole.
Such a good reminder. The moon reminder and a quote.
I like that reminder. That's great.
Our paper is still a little bit wet, so we'll just need a minute to let that dry.
Cool.
And we can come right back. This is dry now, and I'm liking how it turned out. Just gonna clip this down. And we got
Fabulous.
Thanks. So we're ready to paste everything in place. I told you this was gonna be an easy one, but super satisfying, and you can play. So this is just the wet and wet technique where there's no salt, no bleed proof, right? None of that. We're gonna do that in some other projects, but I just wanted you to start out with like an easy one. And I forgot my palette knife.
Oh dear.
Oh dear, indeed, because I need one. There's one in that drawer over there.
Stand by.
Thanks, Keenan. So while he's grabbing that, I'm so sorry I didn't lay that out earlier. We're gonna put our moon right there, and then I'm going to put this right under there. Oh yeah, like that. Like the white drawers. There's one. Yep. The moon is right there. No. Yes, sir.
Didn't break anything.
What phase? So if you lay out these first to kind of get an idea, thank you.
Welcome.
That's what we needed. The moon is lay those out ahead of time, then you'll have like the right spacing. And I love how that purple turned out. Ugh. Okay, so let's start with our moon first. And like I said, you if you're a subscriber, you get this, and you can use that little guy. I'm just going to use this one because it's easier for me on tutorials. You want your glue to be a butter consistency. Sometimes it will dry out, which is totally fine because you can just add more water to reconstitute it. That's what I love about this. Yes, paste. But if you have some other preferred way of doing things, or you're just following this along, making this with your own supplies, feel free to use whatever you got. A glue stick, one of those scrapbook sticker rollers, whatever you prefer is just fine. This isn't crucial by any means. I just like using it because it dries slower, so I have a little more time to place my element on the page. And I think the moon goes like this, like as far as orientation of how the moon looks, that darker spot kind of in the bottom left. And I'm just gonna put it like that. So there's kind of some light around it, and then we got this, kind of looks like clouds or whatever. I don't know. I'm into it. Okay, so next one.
The moon is so cool.
It
Regardless of the direction, the moon is cool.
It is. It's pretty great. And I just like, I mean, the whole idea of this saying is that like sometimes you can see it and, you know, fully bright, and other times it's just a sliver of light. And if that's how life feels right now, if it's a sliver of light versus full-on brightness, that's okay.
Yeah.
Because the moon is still the moon. Like, whether we can see all of it right now or just a sliver, it's still all there. And that's cool.
That is cool. That also makes me think of a Batman quote.
Yeah? What's that?
Yes. The night is darkest right before the dawn.
I'm into that.
Yeah. Harvey Dent said it. He then turned into Two-Face, so that's not great.
Well, now I'm thinking about all the jokes my brothers made. My brothers live in South Louisiana still, when Hurricane Harvey came.
Oh.
They were making all the Batman jokes.
Oh, dear.
Oh, man. I like that I got this little piece of paper dividing that blue and purple space right there.
The purple from the blue spaces, those lines are amazing.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a happy accident. Like, I didn't go for that. I was just dropping water on there. And so you'll have your own little fun things that will happen on yours that you can just embrace whatever happens. I didn't put enough glue on here, and I'm trying to like not put it on a place I already have glue on it. There we go. I'm trying to kind of get the space between here and there similar, but y'all, it's not that big a deal. Like, it's gonna be fine. Yeah, so you're gonna put like a good gob on and then just spread it across, and then that's the perfect amount, just a tiny little bit. Last one. Smooth like butter, just scrape it across and then paste it on here. And you want to make sure that you don't have glue around the edges of your glue pot, whether it's the Yes Paste Big guy or this little guy, because that will help it from not getting glued on, which is never good.
Can't you use Vaseline for the lid?
Yes, you can. I haven't put that one on this one. I did it on a different one, but not this one. I should put Vaseline on the one that I use in the studio. Okay, so we did it. We made it. Ooh, ooh. I love this project. It's so simple but easy and just looks awesome. I love it. Thanks so much for making art along with us and giving yourself permission to slow down. I think that's really important. And I hope that you can recognize whatever your phase you're in, it's okay. Thanks so much. If you made this with us, I'm sure it's going to look a little different than what I did, and it's so fun to see what different things that y'all do. So the thing that I love about this community is that we get to share what we make with each other, and we like to do that on our Facebook group, which is Let's Make Art Journals, or you can use the hashtag on Instagram, Let's Make Art Journals, so that we can see what you made. Thanks so much for being here. We'll see you next time. Bye.